The twisting Hell's Canyon of the Snake River is a huge geographic feature and actually marks much of the state boundary between Idaho and Oregon. Hell's Canyon and surrounding terrain is mostly public land managed by the U.S. Forest Service. There aren't many roads in the canyon, but from Whitebird, Idaho, you can wind your way down this mountainous corridor to a place called Pittsburg Landing. That's where this group of travelers is meeting Captain Kirk Kilgore of Kilgore Adventures. He has his jet boat shined and ready for a 6-hour trip through the canyon. Kirk feels this is the best place to begin a Hell's Canyon journey because you're right in the middle of the canyon. About 35 miles of the Snake River downstream is designated a scenic river, while upstream, nearly as much has been classified as a wild river. And that's where this boat's headed, into the wildest part of Hell's Canyon.
I just like the ruggedness. The rapids obviously, but it's got the lower section below Pittsburg is scenic, just like what they call it. It's nice and everything, but this is the more rugged, deepest part of Hell's Canyon, which is the deepest canyon in North America. And so that's why we like it, and everybody who knows Hell's Canyon usually prefers this end.
The scenery along this stretch of river is spectacular, and it gets even better the further you go. The highest point above the canyon is He-Devil Mountain. From its summit to river level is nearly 8,000 feet, or over 1.5 miles. This remote canyon was home to Native Americans for thousands of years. Both the Nez Perce and Shoshone tribes spent time here. Then, in the late 19th century, white settlers came in and tried to eke out a living. Now, very few people actually live in the canyon, but there are still remnants of those days gone by. One of the mandatory stops for jet boat passengers on this trip is the Kirkwood Historical Ranch.
Kirkwood is a place the government has kind of started a museum there. It was an old sheep ranch, and you can see a little of everything.
Checking out the old ranch gives visitors a relaxing break from the jolts and bumps of riding the wild Snake River. But now that they have rested, it's time to head back to the water for the wildest part of the ride. Huge rapids like Granite Creek and wild sheep are ahead, and Captain Kirk's navigating skills will be tested even further on this part of the journey.
I like the white water. Granite Creek and wild sheep is the highlight of my day. They're Class 5 rapids at higher water flows, and I like getting people wet. Every day it's a new group of people, and they're all having a great time. That's what I like the best.
It takes plenty of practice, a lot of skill, and a steady hand to guide the powerful jet boats through these raging waters.
There's a lot of hazards in Hell's Canyon, especially in these bigger boats. They're nicer for big water, but when the river gets real low, you got to be in the right spot, at the right time. Our boats have a lot of power though, and so we usually don't have any problem with that. We get through just fine.
After the thrilling ride through the big rapids, the boatload of passengers reaches the impressive Hell's Canyon Dam. They've now traveled over 30 miles of wild river. Now, because of the dam, what goes upriver has to go down the river back to Pittsburg Landing. And on this part of the trip, passengers are likely to get even wetter than they did on the first leg of the adventure.
I tell people, it's better to get your pictures going up, because downriver, it's time to get wet and wild and go swimming.
Of course, if you didn't get wet enough while bouncing through the big waves, Kirk usually stops at a pristine beach along the way back. On a warm day, it's the perfect place for a refreshing swim. From sandy beaches to historic ranches, towering cliffs, and big waves, a trip through Hell's Canyon offers an impressive variety of attractions. It's a place of rugged beauty filled with exciting challenges. A journey that won't be forgotten when the canyon walls fade from view.